Hello, my name is Camille Corbett, and I'm going to be doing a book review on My Antonia by Willa Cather. That's a weird name. It's Willa Sibert Cather. And I really love this book. It actually has become one of my favorite books. It's one of these books, it's a coming-of-age story, and it talks about, and the interesting thing is that it's more of it's a coming-of-age story for numerous characters. It's basically each character that's mentioned, that's a coming-of-age story for them. This book is about a boy, and he goes to live with his grandparents in the Midwest. And his grandparents are like these established Midwestern farmers. They have settled, they are farming, they're making money, and they're just good farmers. And next to them as they were in farms back then, move these people from Bohemia, and there's a little girl there, and then there's a big family, and one of the little girls is named Antonia, and she's obviously her father's favorite child, and it's about the boys and this girl's friendship, and when they grow up, how they interact, and how the girl grows up, how she ends up growing up in their relationship. And it's a really beautiful story about seeing them both together growing up and how their lives are different. And towards the end it's sad because they finally see each other after all these years, and she's completely different, but she still has that the thing that made her Antonia to him, and I just find that beautiful. And I find her name beautiful. I want to name my daughter Antonia now. And the writing was just beautiful. Everything was beautiful. It just kept your attention. It's just one of those books that are so rich, and it just fills you with this wonderful feeling that life, even though it ends, and even though there's crap that goes on, it is beautiful just to live it. And it's beautiful to be young, and this is what this book teaches you. I'm going to read to you a bit of it so you can appreciate it as much as I have. I first heard of Antonia on what seemed to be an interminable journey across the great midland plain of North America. I was 10 years old then, and I had lost both my father and mother within a year, and my Virginia relatives were sending me out to my grandparents who lived in Nebraska. I traveled in the care of a mountain boy, Jake Marpole, one of the hands on my father's old farm under the Blue Ridge, who was now going west to work for my grandfather. Jake's experience of the world was not much wider than mine. He had never been in a railway train until this morning, when we set out together to try our fortunes in the new world. We went all the way in day clothes, becoming more sticky and grimy with each stage of the journey. Jake bought everything the new boys offered him: candy, oranges, brass collar buttons, a watch charm, and for me, A Life of Jesse James, which I remember was one of the most satisfactory books I have ever read. Beyond Chicago, we were under the protection of a friendly passenger conductor, who all knew about the country to which we were going and gave us a great deal of advice in exchange for our confidence. He seemed to be an experienced and worldly man who had been almost everywhere. His conversation drew out lightly the names of distant states and cities. He wore the rings and pins and badges of different fraternal orders to which he belonged to. Even his cuff buttons were engraved with hieroglyphics, and he was more inscribed than an Egyptian obelisk. Once, when he sat down to chat, he told us in the immigrant car ahead that there was family room across the water, whose destination was the same as ours. Okay. Another thing I forgot to mention about this book, I loved how it talked about the class distinctions within this society, which is so specific, Midwestern middle class society. And I just really like that. I love when authors are able to capture their region's little idiosyncrasies. I love that. So check this book out. It's a classic and it's a wonderful read, and have a lovely day. Bye.